In this video, I'll give a brief overview of how Washington state agencies most commonly purchase goods and services. Understanding how this state buys helps businesses know where state buyers look for potential vendors. Washington state is governed by law in the Revised Code of Washington, Chapter 39.26, on how it purchases goods and services. In this video, we'll cover the three most common ways the state buys goods and services: statewide contracts, agency contracts, and direct buys. Washington state agencies are required to look at statewide contracts first for their purchasing needs. These are contracts that any agency can purchase from. Statewide contracts are awarded through a competitive process that is conducted by the Department of Enterprise Services, or DES, the lead procurement agency for the state of Washington. This competitive process is done in WEBs, where all solicitation bid documents are posted. Register in WEBs to view the most up-to-date detail on bid opportunities. Statewide contracts can also be used by other government entities and public benefit nonprofits that have a current contract usage agreement with DES. Since statewide contracts are used by a variety of state agencies and organizations across the state, these contracts are frequently awarded to multiple bidders. For this reason, it is important to note that when you are a winning bidder under a statewide contract, you have the highest visibility to state buyers who are required to look at statewide contracts first for their purchasing needs. However, sales are not guaranteed. If there is no existing statewide contract that meets the agency's purchasing need, the agency is then allowed to look for other vendors outside of the statewide contracts. Agencies will conduct their own competitive process as required by law for larger purchases that are over the direct buy limit. This competitive process is also done in WEBs, where all solicitation bid documents are posted. Register in WEBs to ensure you have access to the most up-to-date information on bid opportunities. Unlike a statewide contract, an agency contract is only used by the agency conducting it, and since the contract is for a current need, the vendor's work to fulfill the order and/or service begins once the contract is executed. If there are no existing statewide contracts that meets an agency's purchasing need below the direct buy limit, the agency is then allowed to look for other vendors outside of the statewide contracts for a direct buy purchase. You can find the direct buy limit on our website at des.wa.gov and searching direct buy policy. As of the making of this video, the direct buy limit is $30,000 if purchasing from a large business, or the direct buy limit is increased to $40,000 if the agency is buying from a Washington small business, which is defined in RCW 39.26.010 as an in-state business that has either 50 or fewer employees or a gross revenue of less than $7 million annually. Agencies are also allowed direct buys up to $40,000 if they buy from a veteran-owned business certified with the Washington Department of Veteran Affairs. Since there is no competitive process required for direct buy purchases, these opportunities are not required to be posted in WEBs. It is still recommended to register in WEBs to be considered for direct buy purchases, since that is where agencies look for certified veteran-owned businesses and self-certified Washington small businesses. That concludes this quick overview of how Washington state buys goods and services. For more information about selling to the state, please visit des.wa.gov. You can also email any questions to despieprogram@des.wa.gov. Thanks for watching.